Hey there everyone, it's Jen, the Board Game Librarian. I'm one half of the Literary Gamers, and today we're going to talk about word games, why I really don't like them, and have these 4 games changed my mind. Today we're going to be taking a look at 4 word games. They're kind of in pairs of sorts, where there are 2 from Flowers Games and 2 from Pegasus Spiele. So I'm going to start with the 2 that are from Pegasus. All of these games I've been sent by the publishers. Thank you so much for sending them to me. I always like to say too that anything I do not keep, I do bring to the library, and then it lives a second life, and the public that I work with, they get to enjoy it. So Bookworm, the dice game, and Bookworm, the card game, are very similar designs of sorts, except one uses cards and one uses dice. They're both ages 8 and up, 10-ish to 30 minutes, and 2 to 6, 2 to 8 players. I would recommend starting off with Bookworm, the card game, if you were going to start with either of them. It's kind of exploding here. You are dealt a hand of cards, which could be letters, combinations of letters, and then another deck of cards is shuffled, and these are your goals. From the back we have here things that can fly, types of furniture, things at a wedding, articles of clothing, TV series, and actors. So what you are looking to do in this game is use your deck of cards and name off things that are actors that begin with the letter M or E or J. And the first person in the round who gets rid of all of their cards is the winner of that round. So the dice game has a similar principle, except there's a number of dice that are rolled and then drafted. The dice have different amounts of points that are on there. The dice are in combinations as well. On here, there's an S, there's a CK, there's an L, there's an H. And you are looking to name off things, again, that are in particular categories. This one has things at the beach, fragrant plants, cities, and Asia. And you can go on rounds with that as well, or I guess until you're on your hand of cards. So the artwork on both of these games is wicked adorable, and I had that upside down that whole time. Sorry, folks. I think it's really super appealing. It's got that kind of teacher vibe, and I think this game would be really great with children. So I'm going to bring both of these to the library and put them in our children's collections. I think they will be really appealing for children and families to work on spelling, naming things, categories, and word games in my library tend to be pretty popular, actually. They were not for me, however, and that's okay. So I should give you some background too, and the Ginger Jerk is clearly here to help me tell you why. I get asked all the time, Jen, you're a librarian, you must love word games. And I don't. Big shock. I don't really like word games. I don't know if it's the thinking on your feet that really bothers me and having to really kind of come up with an answer very quickly. If it's the randomness of a lot of word games where what you have in your hand can often be a bunch of hooey, and you're spelling kind of not great words. I read a lot. I think you all know I read a lot. So I have a somewhat decent vocabulary. But I'm also terrible at word games. And especially ones that I have to think on my feet very quickly. Matt will tell you I'm really, really bad at. He reads a lot as well. He's a writer, so he's good with words as well. And I should say too that just because I don't particularly care for a game doesn't mean I wouldn't recommend it to someone. So at the library, I often encounter people who are looking for stuff and are looking for particular categories. They're looking for a game that will play up to 6 players and they like word games. I would probably recommend to them Bookworm, the dice game, because I think there's things in games that just because they don't appeal to me doesn't mean that they won't appeal to other people or that it's not a good game. Again, I think it's super adorable. I think it's going to go out on the shelf and people are going to check it out right away and they'll have fun with it. It's so quick that you can just set it up again and again and again and have fun with it. So moving on to the two from Fowers Games, one is paperback and the other one is hardback. So kind of a similar thing going on as well, where there was the original one and then there was like the spiritual successor with paperback and hardback. Years ago I had played paperback and maybe not been in the right frame of mind. I love the artist, his style on here. I love it. The punniness of paperback and hardback just gets me. I mean, on the box here, life on this rock was supposed to be extinct. Now their lives will be extinct. And it's dead planet. You know, kind of those bodice buster, reminds me of those bodice buster romance, except in sci-fi of sorts. You know, the toughest lesson of all. She taught him to love. He taught her to live. By Page Turner. Just the punniness in here, I have such an appreciation for. So unlike these two from Pegasus, these are both deck builders. Paperback to me is definitely the easier of the two. In paperback, you have a hand of cards. You start off with kind of your basic, you know, your Wheel of Fortune letters, you know, your RST, LNE, kind of very common letters. And then you are looking to spell a bunch of letters, get points that you can use to purchase cards, and then you're looking to scoop up kind of your scoring points. And then after a certain period of time, the game ends. In hardback, we are taken to the next level where you really need to specialize in certain genres: romance, mystery, fantasy, etc. Similar concept where you start off with a deck of cards, very basic letters, and you are advancing along the way, and you stop at a certain number of points, 50, I think, but you can double check that. 2 to 5 players on this, 2 to 5 players on this, 45 minutes, 45 to 60 minutes. So longer time commitment than these two. And I would also say a different crowd of people that you're going to appeal to with these from Fowers Games. My favorite of the bunch of these was hardback, and hardback is the one that I'm going to keep in my collection. I like paperback just fine, but I feel like I can do more in hardback. I like the specialization and the different genres. As much as I love the punniness of this one, I think it'll go better at the library, quite frankly. And I don't personally need 4 word games in our collection. I need the best one of the bunch. The only other word game that we have in our collection is over here, and it's Unspeakable Words. I like that one because of how silly it is, and my quick responses can be words that I've made up after I've gone Looney Tunes, right? With if you've played Unspeakable Words before, that's my favorite. But I think these are going to appeal to a really great group of people at the library. This paperback I'm going to put in my adult collection. I think it's going to also sit on the shelf. People are going to see the awesome books on the side. They're going to look at it, see the adorable art. You know, just the attention to detail on here is awesome. And it will go out as well. So again, word games and me, not a thing, but that's okay. And I'm happy to have reviewed all of these because it allows me and my knowledge to expand and for me to better recommend games at the library to people who are also looking for recommendations. So what is your favorite word game? Are you like me and just really bad at them? Are you bad at thinking on your feet like I am? Have you played any of these? Have a favorite? Would you check any of them out from your local library? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you again to Pegasus Spiel and Fowers Games for sending me both of these. I'll see you next time, folks.